Hello coaches, welcome back to another Modern Soccer Coach Breakdown. Back three build up has always been a fascination, but today we are seeing more teams with a back four build in a back three. PSG being the biggest example. Today we're going to take a look at why you would build in a three versus building in a four. And if you want a full webinar on this, I'm going to do a full webinar for all the members on Modern Soccer Coach and look specifically at PSG. Look at some of their attacking principles. If you want access to that, please join us on the Insider, MSC Insider. You get all the content of Modern Soccer Coach in terms of the webinars, free resources, exclusive content every week, and upcoming webinars for free. It's the deal of the century. It only works out at $10 a month. Modern Soccer Coach Insider. I'll put the link below. Okay, build up in a back three. Let's go.
So we'll look at a back four first and see what the benefits are. Initially, you look at a back four system and you see a constant connection of triangles and passing angles, and it looks like lower in the build that this is a really beneficial system to use. But I think we've now got to be respectful of pressing systems and the way other teams have reacted to that, and a little bit of counterculture here with pressing systems looking like this here, where the two wide players, those opposition 7-11s, are now looking to defend inside out. So they are now more zonal, so they are now screening passing lanes into those inside channels and maybe tempting balls into those wider spaces. And this makes central penetration really difficult in a traditional back four build because of what opponents are doing defensively against it. And again, it draws you into playing into wider spaces, and it draws a fullback pass from a centre back to a fullback. And again, teams are looking for that, and why they're looking for that is they are inviting teams to play into those wide spaces, and then once they're playing into those wide spaces, they shift across and they apply pressure and they trap teams with the help of the sideline, and they can get pressure on the ball in those wide areas. It makes it really difficult for that blue team to progress the ball, and those spaces there that are highlighted are now areas that oppositions are now looking to potentially win the ball in that traditional back four build, and you can't really get overloads over there quick enough to solve it. So maybe because of this and because of the evolution of pressing systems, we're now seeing teams move away from traditional back four builds. Here's some benefits of potentially a back three instead, what that brings to a team. The first benefit is possibly a subtle one, but definitely an obvious one, is that the passing angles change when teams are conditioned to press against a back four. They might potentially overlook situations against a back three, and definitely the passing angles, definitely the opportunities, definitely the distances are different here. So the first one is probably the most obvious one, is the pass from centre back to full back in a back four. If you put that in a back three scenario, and we'll look a little bit closer in those wide traps in a minute, but when you put this in a back three scenario, the wing back is the fullback, and they're just higher up, and it's a really difficult pass. So now the fullback or wing back in this occasion is ahead of that attacker in blue, which means you can progress the ball quicker. And at the elite level today, it's all about ball progression in those possession systems. So now, if that pass is on to the wing back and they can receive in front of the blue pressing player, that opens up situations to attack wide overloads. Also, if the opposition go man to man, then of course passing lanes open up, diagonal passing lanes that are not open in a traditional back four build. So you can see here it just challenges the pressing system of the blue team to solve a few more problems that were probably taken for granted against a back four because they're just so used to it. And I do think there is something in that where teams that are used to pressing against a system will naturally build confidence, whereas if they're playing against a back three and suddenly the nuances change in that pressing and spaces open up, then there's going to be more questions. They're going to have to solve it through communication, decision making, and that creates an opportunity where the back three can progress the ball with efficiency and a little bit more fluidity perhaps. Another benefit of a back three is the use of the wing back, and of course we just showed a picture of the wing back receiving high and beyond the first pressing player in that wide area. But also, if the wing back decides to receive low, the difference between a back four build with that first clip we showed of centre back to full back, which is a pressing trigger for a lot of teams, it might look quite similar that wide defender to wing back is a pressing trigger for a pressing team, and if that's the case, great for the back three build because they can move players over to support really quickly here and create that overload or create that ball progression where it's a completely different picture than perhaps a back four. So now they can receive on the half turn, they can play forward. There's a number of patterns and combinations that you can work here, that you can move off forward lanes, third man running. Teams that play in back three systems, the Contes, the Inzagis, they are absolute masters of these fluid patterns to release players, those wing backs, into those wide spaces. So if you're a fan of solving through a little bit of pattern play and having those solutions for the players, the back three build is really good in doing that, where you can give them 5 or 6 solutions to play out of those wide traps and they can progress the ball and get those wing backs into those attacking areas, because you want to do that. You don't want your wing backs spending their time low in a back five. You want your wing backs playing high and supporting the forward players, because there's a number of benefits there. Again, it brings questions to the opponent's system, the pressing system, but a really interesting one is in those back three builds that you see today, the first time pass when a wing back is pressed, you see this quite a lot, where the first time bounce pass, even a long first time pass, again, watch Inter Milan today and look at the number of times wing backs play first time passes around the corner, and there's combination play underneath. Probably happens quite a few times a game, all by design and all quite different, that you don't really see fullbacks and back four systems play these types of passes. There's massive benefits to them, and there are numbers around the forward pretty quickly, so gets you from build into attack very quickly. Another build advantage in the back three is where your overload is. So in the back four, your overload is typically your goalkeeper. In your back three, you can use one of those centre backs in a slightly unorthodox position or an attacking position to create an overload where you can carry the ball. A ball carrying centre backs, really important part of the modern game. A great team to watch do this in the build is Juventus. And what this does is it allows the opponent to progress the ball and use that +1 in an attacking sense. Again, lower risk pass because of the distances, and also asks questions of the opponent, where again players can receive facing forward, players can receive with support around them, and with high quality players, support around them means that they're probably going to take advantage of that and create a goal scoring opportunity. And if you have to go back to the goalkeeper in this here, which again you might have to do against high pressing systems, the relationship with the goalkeeper and that back three becomes really interesting, where there's a number of shapes. You can create a diamond out of this. Ruben Amorim is a big fan of this one, where the central defender drops a little bit higher, now creates an extra player, and again creating that extra player higher in a back three build has potentially a greater advantage than a back four build, where the advantage numerically is typically a little bit lower. So in an era where overloads are obviously very important, getting that overload as high up the pitch as possible has a massive advantage to an attack-minded, possession-based system. So just some ideas there, coaches. Probably the most interesting team today is PSG, who are building in a 4 and a 3. A 4 a little bit lower and a 3 a little bit higher. Not many teams doing that in world football. And I'm going to do a webinar on this with Modern Soccer Coach this week on the Insider platform. So we're going to take a look at how Luis Enrique manages to balance a back four and a back three build in the same phase, in the same moment of the game. How he's doing that, what are some triggers, what are some necessities and principles that you need in order to make this work. He's obviously got world-class players, but I think it's fair to say Luis Enrique's system is really unique, and it's a coach who is pushing the boundaries of tactics and decision making around not just his players but what he's asking of opponents to try and solve this here. So I've been working on this here for a few weeks. Excited to put this out. Available for Modern Soccer Coach Insider members. If you're not an Insider member, Modern Soccer Coach Insider is our platform that we put all the webinars we've done over the years. There are so many of them. You can get access to them on demand, so you can watch them whenever you like. And then also there are Modern Soccer Coach resources on there as well, so you'll get the free resources and more bonus content coming up there with session plans, session ideas, and bonus webinars that you will get access to, discussion groups, and a way to get involved in the conversation at Modern Soccer Coach. Modern Soccer Coach Insider, become a member today. It works out at $10 a month, but it is well worth it. If you enjoy the Modern Soccer Coach breakdowns, if you enjoy the sessions, if you enjoy the webinars, you get all of this and you get to contribute to the conversation. So really appreciate the support. Link is below, Modern Soccer Coach Insider. And check out this Luis Enrique breakdown. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy. See you next week. Goodbye.